Sup with it, guys, you got Excellent Name here, back again for my UPA Week 4 match up against Seansters, aka Slippy Slurpy. He has a team of Garchomp, Mandibuzz, Primarina, Delmise, Excelgor, Piloswine, Mega Mawile, Zerkatry, Azelf, Lycanroc, Dusk, and Blaziken. So bit of a weird matchup for me. I felt like first three Pokemon were going to be really good, but then outside of that I couldn't find a lot that I really wanted to bring. So starting off, we've got Talglow Manaphy with the Wakan Berry to make sure that I don't get revenge killed by Zerkatry too easily if he's Scarf or something like that. 3 attack is going to just be my best way of breaking through stuff like Mandibuzz and ensuring that I don't get walled by Primarina or Delmise or anything like that. But yeah, if this thing goes down, then I'm really going to struggle with Mandibuzz if he plays it right, just because I don't have a lot of great ways of breaking it. But next up on the team is Jirachi. I decided to go with Doom Desire set again, because he doesn't have any good steel resists, the only one being Zerkatry, but he does have a lot of really good responses to any kind of like Iron Head sets that I might want to run. And he also does obviously have the Garchomp, so that Calm Mind wouldn't really be a super viable strategy. Just because even if I did run Shocker, its Earthquake is still doing like 70-80%, so it's just too much damage for me to really deal with. Hippo here is just going to be Fizz Death with Rocks. This is going to be my check all kind of Pokemon. I'm going to need to keep this thing healthy for Garchomp, for Mawile, and Lycanroc Dusk, and to a lesser extreme Zerkatry. I have other checks to Zerkatry, sort of, but I'm going to be more so relying on beating that offensively just because I don't really have super good answers outside of Chestnut, which I decided to not bring this week. Then I've got Wheezing here because I feel like Toxic Spikes are really good. I've got enough speed here to outspeed the Mandibuzz so that I can taunt it to stop it from defogging. Flamethrower Will-O-Wisp so that I don't get taken advantage of by Mawile or even Garchomp and stuff like that. Retaliate Mega Lopunny as my revenge killer. This is going to be really helpful for breaking Mandibuzz as well, because Mandibuzz can't swap into a Retaliate plus high jump kick after Rocks. And also have Toxic just to put pressure on his walls. And then finally Substitute Salazzle with 3 attack. I originally didn't want to bring this because I figured that Garchomp would be a solid answer to it, and that Mawile and Lycanroc Dusk would both have the priority to really effectively deal with me, and that both a Excelgor and potential Scarf Azelf were likely brings, but I decided with Sub I would be able to play around that anyway. Before we get into it, I forgot to mention that I did pick up Manaphy. To do so, I traded away Latias and Crawdaunt for Hydreigon and Necrozma, and then I dropped Necrozma for Manaphy. So I feel like this is an overall benefit to my team, just because it's a much better bulky water, and even though Hydreigon's a small downgrade, the Manaphy is just such a big upgrade anyway. But without further ado, we'll just hop right into the battle. Looking at his team lineup, I am expecting him to be trying to take advantage of my lack of removal. At this point in time, Hydreigon is my only removal. Next week I will have Whimsicott as well. But yeah, so I figure that he's probably going to lead Azelf. He might be a dual screens kind of lead a Excelgor, might be a dual screens type of Azelf, or maybe setup. Probably set up Zerk, probably Specs Primarina, spin Delmise, and just Mandibuzz as the obligatory wall type of thing that Hippo is fulfilling on my team. So expecting him to lead a Excelgor, I figure that Wheezing is probably going to be my best lead, because if he's not packing Taunt or not expecting me to be packing Taunt, then I can stop him from getting more than one hazard, and then I can also get T-Spikes on him myself. But he actually leads Delmise, which makes me think that he is not lead Azelf, and also makes me think that he's probably not screens Azelf either. Goes for the Shadow Ball there, which confirms to me that he's an offensive variant just based on the damage. and I go for the protect just because I don't want to risk a roll as he goes into the Mandibuzz. I feel like Weezing's my best play because I don't think I didn't bring Weezing to have the longevity. I just want to get my T-Spikes up and die essentially, just try to get as much value out of it as possible. He goes for the energy ball predicting my Hippowdon, but I don't give him. That's like he's already shown that he's going to make those aggressive plays. I go for the taunt just to stop him from setting up Tail Glow, and then I double into the Hippowdon. Because he switches out, I expect him to be Scarf. As the Mandibuzz goes for the defogs there. I feel free to just get my T-Spikes up again though, because Mandibuzz doesn't really threaten me. As he goes into the Xurkitree and then doubles back into Mandibuzz as I go Hippo to try to take the T-Bolt. Then I go into Manaphy here as I expect the defog and should be able to threaten him. But I do go for the Ice Beam just to scout what he wants to go for. He goes for the Toxic. I take this damage any day of the week because it means that it no longer swaps into Lopunny. Go for the Ice Beam again just to keep the pressure on as he switches into Primarina. I decide that Weezing is the best sack there if he goes for the water move, and I can taunt the Mandibuzz if he chooses to go into that. As he goes into the Xurkitree, I just get up my T-Spikes here, and at this point I'm like, whatever, I'll sack the Weezing. I expect this thing to be Scarf, so I can go into Powdon now to revenge kill it. In hindsight, I misplayed here. You know, it was a fair assumption to assume he was Scarf, but I had the catch-all play in Salazzle that covered Energy Ball, and it covered any of the likely swap-ins he would have to Hippowdon, being Primarina, Dhelmise, or Mandibuzz. So yeah, there wasn't really much of a reason for me to stay in there because he wasn't going to T-Bolt again if he was Scarf. But knowing that he's not Scarf, I can now go into Lopunny and click Retaliate to claim my kill. It's not quite going to do enough to Mandibuzz, and he reveals to be Rocky Helmet, so I do have to take 2 rounds of chip here, but the Mandibuzz is dead, and that's really solid for me in just keeping up offensive pressure with this thing. He goes into Dhelmise, and I can't actually kill it here, so my thought process is that I'm probably going to have to sack something, because I figured with Defog Mandibuzz he probably wasn't going to B-spin. So I figured I'd have to sack something, and I figured he'd probably go for the Power Whip just to cover pretty much everything. But I didn't want to risk Salazzle because Earthquake would also kill me if he was max attack. So I go into Manaphy because I feel like this is going to be the least useful Pokemon on the team. Xurkitree is still alive and like healthy enough to take some hits. Primarina is still going to be there, etc. I just don't see Manaphy being like the most useful member on my team right now. But because he does go for the spin, I unfortunately lose my T-Spikes, but it does mean that I can ensure that he will go for the Power Whip so I can get in my Salazzle for free. To click Fire Blast, this point I expect him to go Azelf, but he actually goes Xurkitree and reveals to be max HP Assault Vest to live the Inferno Overdrive, and then kills me off with Volt Switch. So at this point I feel pretty far in the back, but I'm still confident that I can win with a combination of Jirachi and Lopunny. After he revealed that Xurkitree was not Scarf, I immediately assumed that Azelf would be the Scarfer, because he kind of needs one to deal with the Salazzle and the Lopunny, and based on how he was playing it, I'm going for Hard Shadow Ball on the Jirachi. I felt it was safe, so I went into Lopunny to try to bait his response to go into a Psychic, and then swap into Jirachi, but he decides to make the safe sack into Xurkitree. But I can just protect up here to get a little bit of free leftovers on the expected Volt Switch, and then go for the Wish to stay healthy. I then go for the Protect here just to scout whether he's Specs. Because if he is Specs, then I do not live that Bug Buzz, as he does reveal to be Specs, and this made for a very difficult play on my end. Because that is a max roll on Timid and a mid roll on Modest. So I had to try to decide whether he would be running Modest or not. Last time I played him, he was very aggressive with his speed creeping, so I knew that it would be within the realms of possibility for him to go Modest and underspeed, max speed Lopunny, just knowing that I would probably run Adamant anyway. But in the end, I did decide to go for the Protect here. Obviously, and then from here I did decide to go ahead and Wish up, assuming that I would live the Bug Buzz, but he decides to sack Xurkitree. The other thing with that play is that if he did decide to stay in with a Selgor and was modest to kill me off, I at least did get rid of the Selgor, which would be really good for Manaphy in the back, as well as Lopunny getting rid of one of the things that outsped. But yeah, now I've got a Wish up and I can go into Manaphy pretty safely because I'm confident he'll go for the Scold, and I can just heal back up to near full. As he goes into the Selgor expecting an Energy Ball or some play like that, I go for the Tail Glow expecting just trying to put on pressure, as he does indeed go for the Energy Ball, which I would not have lived, I don't believe. I go for the Wish here, and feeling confident that he isn't going to go for anything like sub, I feel fine just going for the Protect. As he does go for the Scold, I swap into Manaphy to take that, and this time I just go for the Energy Ball to get some chip, as he reveals to be Rindo Berry, which is enough to take the hit pretty comfortably and kill me off with the Energy Ball. But I can now claim my kill with Retaliate, and here's where things are getting very dicey. We're down to 2 Pokemon each, and both of his things outspeed Lopunny, but I still need Lopunny alive to take on the Selgor, and just it's going to be my main damage dealer. I do take Bug Buzzers from Selgor, and I also need it to be able to force him to not go for lock into Shadow Ball in the end game. So I can go into Irachi because I'm at full health, and just set up a Wish here, and then I go for the safe Protect because I kind of have to, it's not worth risking otherwise, as he just goes into a Selgor. Bug Buzzes up as he gets a Spit Death Drop, and I Wish, knowing that he's going to swap out. I swap into Lopunny to get him to full health to make sure that I take on the Selgor, and then I go into Jirachi expecting him to click Psychic here, and then I get the next 50-50 right as well, expecting him to stay in to try to finish me with Psychic. I can then get that off. He then goes into a Selgor as I click Doom Desire here to force a kill, go for the Protect to scout what move he goes for, and now I know that I live a hit. I know that I live Bug Buzz with Lopunny, so I can just go right into it as the Doom Desire kills him off. And that's enough to win the game. As he goes into Azelf, he clicks Psychic, but Jirachi is guaranteed to live the Psychic even with crit, Spidef drops, etc. I just go for the Wish and Protect just to be safe. Don't want to get crit Spidef dropped into crit or something like that. And now I can just set up Doom Desire and kill him off there. So very close game down to the wire, a lot of 50-50s that I had to win. His team did a really good job of putting the offensive pressure on me, but thankfully Jirachi was able to pull through. Once again proving that Jirachi is easily top 3 steel types in the format. Super good mon, big fan of it. Doom Desire is once again coming in clutch. So yeah, that wraps up this week. I believe our team, the Drunks, was able to go 10-8, I think, something like that. Hold on, let me. Yeah, so this doc isn't up to date, but we did beat Heaters with Attitude in our first week. So yeah, great to see that we're getting our wins in the first time. So I'll make sure to see you guys next time. Bye.